evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is said that when equality becomes selective, injustice becomes official. This is exactly what seems to have happened after the University Grants Commission notified its new equity in higher education institutions regulations. These norms were supposed to be a necessary step to curb caste-based discrimination on campuses, but have now sparked massive fury and outrage for being discriminatory themselves. Now, it is not like India did not already have laws to tackle caste-based bias. Neither do UGC's 2026 regulations create new anti-discrimination rights. What they have done is convert existing norms into enforceable regulations. They make it mandatory to establish formal grievance redressal mechanisms and compliance reporting to the UGC. So what are the new rules? They require dedicated equity committees with wide powers, time-bound inquiries and strict compliance with penalties. Violations can now even lead to loss of recognition of such universities or colleges or funding for these institutions. So in effect, the UGC has shifted from guidelines to regulation in order to clamp down on the caste bias faced by students from reserved categories in universities. So why have these norms sparked a spate of resignations and protests? Protesters from campuses to streets allege that these rules create reverse bias. Here is how. They define caste discrimination as something that can only be practiced against SCs, STs and OBCs. According to this definition, the general category students can never be at the receiving end of any discrimination. Under the new framework, complaints from SC, ST and OBC students receive automatic institutional backing, while general category students get no parallel protection mechanism. Then, the burden to prove innocence effectively shifts to the accused, not the other way around, flipping the very foundation of natural justice as we follow and as we know the Constitution. On the other hand, the complainant's identity is protected, so while the accused faces inquiry, stigma and possible disciplinary action, the accuser gets away with anonymity. Most significantly, there are no penalties for malicious and fake complaints. So if you're framed, you're pretty much on your own and facing the music. The critics say that the new law assumes that while SC, ST, OBCs are always victims, the general category students are always the oppressors. And while every university must constitute equity and anti-discrimination squads, well, squads running around your college campuses saying, "Arey, who's doing that? Who's doing that?" And there comes possibly a complaint and straight call to the police station. It is not mandatory for them to have any representation in these committees from the general category, although they must have members from scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and OBC categories. The charge now is the new rules don't fight bias, they institutionalize.
क्या जनरल सवर्ण के लोग क्या ST, SC, OBC पे अत्याचार कर रहे हैं? अगर ऐसा कुछ हो तो आप जांच करते, जांच के बाद कानून लाते।
क्या इन्हें ये UGC वालों को दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है कि इससे कितने भेदभाव पैदा हो जाएंगे, कितनी नफरत पैदा हो जाएगी?
जो जनरल कैटेगरी के बच्चे हैं, जब उनके साथ शोषण होगा तो वो किसके पास कंप्लेन करेंगे? किसके पास कंप्लेन करेंगे? ये भी मुद्दा है। अब ऐसा लग रहा है कि ये कानून आने से समान वर्ग के जो छात्र रहेंगे, है ना, वो थोड़ा सा दोस्ती करने में या फिर कुछ बोलने से, है ना, परहेज करेंगे या फिर सोचेंगे।
Now, no one can deny that discrimination does exist. In the last 5 years, there has been a 118% increase in reported cases of caste-based discrimination on campuses across India. That statistic alone tells us the problem is real. Remember Rohit Vemula, the PhD scholar in University of Hyderabad, or Dr. Payal Tarvi, a young resident doctor in Maharashtra? Both died by suicide allegedly because they were linked to allegations of caste-based harassment. It was their mothers, in fact, who knocked on the doors of the Supreme Court demanding stronger safeguards and accountability and led to the formation of new regulations. So yes, discrimination exists. Yes, it must be fought. But the question is, do the new UGC rules fight discrimination, or do they replace one injustice with another and turn India's universities being turned into laboratories for reverse discrimination? Listen in to Kanchana Yadav of the RJD and you will realize the fault lines that exist in this framework. It leaves the general category students vulnerable to being falsely flamed. She officially says that framing is kosher. It is almost legitimate. In cases of discrimination, the Supreme Court has consistently stressed two principles. First, zero tolerance for caste-based humiliation, and second, procedural fairness for all parties involved. But prima facie, these rules seem to be in clear contradiction with the second principle, so much so that even those within the BJP have raised the red flag. Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan says centre will not allow any discrimination or misuse of power. But will that assuage fears, and can a statement replace written regulations?
किसी को उत्पीड़न होने नहीं दिया जाए, कोई भेदभाव नहीं होगा, कोई डिस्क्रिमिनेशन के नाम पे किसी को भी मिसयूज करने का अधिकार नहीं रहेगा। और ये जो विषय आई है, ये तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट की निगरानी में व्यवस्था है, किसी के ऊपर भी अत्याचार या किसी को भी भेदभाव नहीं किया जाएगा।
बीजेपी को कोई नुकसान नहीं है और नाराज किस बात के लिए होंगे। सामान्य वर्ग मंदिर बनाने की बात किया, मंदिर बनवा दिया एनडीए सरकार ने। 10% आरक्षण की बात किया, आरक्षण भी सरकार ने दे दिया। तो नाराज काम कहां नहीं हो रहा है।
Now, it is important to remember that while UGC norms are applicable across the country, only Uttar Pradesh has so far seen mass protests on the streets. The state is going to polls in 2027 and the caste politics will play a crucial role in deciding political fortunes. As you listen in to the political reactions from the opposition ranks, bear in mind that they have their vote banks in mind, not really the students or their welfare.
एजुकेशन मिनिस्ट्री कम्प्लीटली फेल हो चुका है और मोदी सरकार ने कम्प्लीटली आरएसएस का हाथ में एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट दे दिया। उसी वजह से यूजीसी का यह हाल हो रहा है।
हम लोगों ने लगातार कहा है कि कास्ट सेंसस होना चाहिए, कास्ट सेंसस में ये सारे इश्यूज रिजॉल्व हो जाएंगे।
यूजीसी ने कुछ गलत नहीं किया। यूजीसी ने जो अन्याय हो रहा था उसकी शिकायत करने के लोगों को मौका दे दिया, बस और कुछ नहीं।
उत्तर प्रदेश में लगातार ब्राह्मणों के साथ जिस तरह से नाइंसाफी हो रही थी, हर कदम पे नाइंसाफी हो रही थी, हर विभाग में नाइंसाफी हो रही थी, तो उसको लेके जो मजिस्ट्रेट हैं अग्निहोत्री जी, उन्हीं ने रिजाइन दिया है।
Whatever is being done is already too little. It is not giving confidence to the people from the backward and the oppressed society.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to the Motorola legitimate question on the News Hour tonight. Have the new UGC norms created a Mandal 2.0 like situation for the Modi Sarkar? And can the Sabka Saath Sarkar clear this test? That's the question, and that's the debate on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Deepak Reddy, national spokesperson of the TDP, Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist, Mithun Vijay Kumar, political analyst. Also joining me tonight, Sanjay Jha, author, professor and Congress leader, Professor Naval Kishore Yadav, national spokesperson of the RJD, Karan Verma, author and right-wing thinker. Professor Naval Kishore Yadav, my first question goes to you. नवल किशोर जी, आरजेडी तो बहुत खुश है इन रूल से, लेकिन जो सबसे डराने वाली बात है वो ये है कि कंचना जी तो कह रही हैं कि अगर कोई अपर कास्ट के लड़कों के साथ बनावटी फेक कंप्लेंट डाल दे तो ये अच्छा है, क्योंकि ये पिछड़ों के हक में लड़ाई है, एंड फॉर मेनी डेकेड्स the general categories, the upper castes have enjoyed. So now it's time for payback. Do you think this reasoning fits into the new UGC rules of bringing in safeguards and creating equality? Because ये तो equality नहीं है, ये तो fake complaint का एक रास्ता खोल रही है.
नाविका जी, जो 118% की वृद्धि हुई है पिछले 5 साल में डिस्क्रिमिनेशन के, आप उसका अध्ययन कीजिए, आपको पता चल जाएगा कि डिस्क्रिमिनेट कौन करता है और डिस्क्रिमिनेशन किसका होता है. तो उसी कॉन्टेक्स्ट में जो यूजीसी है उसका रेगुलेशन आया है. अब उसमें जो बातें कही गई हैं, आप कह रहे हैं कि इसमें केवल बायस ही होगा. ऐसा तो होगा नहीं. फिर कमेटी क्या करेगी? जो इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, वो चाहे यूनिवर्सिटी हो या कॉलेजेस हो, उसमें जो लोग हेड कर रहे हैं, वो वाइस चांसलर हो, प्रिंसिपल हो, वो तो सामान्य वर्ग से ही हैं. अब कहा कर रहे हैं कि वहां पे जो बातें हैं वो इनइक्वल है. जब इंस्टीट्यूशन का हेड ही अनडिजर्व कैटेगरी से, तो आप रिप्रेजेंटेशन की बात क्या कर रहे हैं? जो ये लॉ है, ये तो एडिशनल है. इसके अलावा बहुत सारा है जो कि आप डायरेक्टली प्रिंसिपल को कंप्लेन कर सकते हैं. ग्रीवेंस रिड्यूसल कमेटी ऐसे भी है. और जो पिछले 1.5 दशक का अनुभव है, उसमें आपने देखा होगा कि हर एक कॉलेज और यूनिवर्सिटी में SC ST लाइजन ऑफिसर होते थे, OBC लाइजन ऑफिसर होते थे, जेंडर सेंसिटाइजेशन कमेटी होती थी. इन सबके बावजूद भी जो वृद्धि हुई है 118% का, शायद वह एक कारण होगा जिसके आधार पे इस तरह के रेगुलेशन लाने का जरूरत पड़ा होगा. इट इज बेस्ड ऑन द रिपोर्ट ऑफ द कमिटी दैट हैज डन वर्क. And I don't think you need to go and read anything much beyond that. यह समानता जो है इसका मेन एजेंडा है. इक्विटी और इक्वालिटी इसका मेन मैंडेट है और एजेंडा है.
You have completely sidestepped the statement made by your party colleague Kanchana Yadav ji, who said fake complaint है तो होनी चाहिए. Does that not create fear?
देखिए, कंप्लेन जो कर रहा है सही है या गलत है, उसको साबित करना पड़ेगा. ऐसा तो है नहीं कि जो गलत कंप्लेन के आधार पे ही होता है. ये जो 118%
Yes, that's where the discrimination comes in. And Karan Verma, let me ask you this: if there is a proof of a fake complaint, there are no penalties, which means, and if you read the regulations, if there is a complaint that has been received by this committee or whatever, they can straight away pass it on to the police, which means a case will be registered whether or not that complaint has been assessed within the university. It will be sent to the police. The campus will become a police ka adda, where every child will be worried whether there will be a police case against him, and there can be false cases. There is, the person who's claiming to be the victim has anonymity, but the person who's accused has no anonymity, a police case, a stigma, and absolutely no penalties for any fake cases that are planted on these kids. Is it really equitable in the manner in which it has been brought out right now?
So, Navika ji, it is against the principles of natural justice at every single level. And when I heard the RJD spokesperson speak, I think, Navika ji, we should not be surprised. After all, this is the party that said, Bhura Bal Saaf Karo. So, it's but natural that the spokesperson is fine with Brahmins or the upper caste being targeted. That has been the slogan, Bhura Bal Saaf Karo. And look at the premise. Navika ji, can I please speak? Can I please speak?
आपको कहां से पता चला? Show me the evidence कि कब RJD ने कहा भूरा बाल साफ करो. ये घटिया बयान करने के लिए आपको बुलाया जाता है क्या? इसी तरह का काम करते हैं. ये
आपकी पार्टी के बारे में सबको पता है.
He is contesting the statement made by you, Karan Verma. So please quote where you are quoting this from.
कहां से कोट कर रहे हो बताओ तो, अदरवाइज माफी मांगो.
Karan Verma, you know this slogan, Navika ji, don't we know this? This was an open slogan, and why is he jumping up? What does Bhura Bal mean? Does he know the full form of the jatis that means? Look, he's exposed. What is Bhura Bal? क्या होता है भर से क्या होता है?
You are speaking nonsense.
Yeah.
You are trying to create.
Navika ji, we can't let him wreak havoc here when he's exposed.
Misinformation.
From Bhura Bal साफ करो to तिलक तराजू और तलवार, इनको जूते मारो 4. Don't we know the kind of casteist slogans we've had in election campaigns?
ये कहाँ से दिमाग है आपके पास की नहीं?
I mean,
Okay, 1 minute, one at a time, and let's just maintain our discourse level at parliamentary levels, which is not much at this point. But 1 minute, Naval Kishore ji, allow him to complete. Don't browbeat him.
क्या बात करते हैं आप? केवल उससे पूछिए।
अरे भैया वो जनरल कैटेगरी से हैं तो डराने थोड़ी लग जाओगे।
अरे बहन जी मैं डरा रहा हूँ, मैं तो पूछ रहा हूँ कि बूढ़ाबाल साहब आरजेडी ने कहा कब और कहा।
ओके, प्लीज वेट, करण वर्मा इज रिस्पॉन्डिंग। करण वर्मा रिस्पॉन्ड।
No. And Navika ji, what kind of equity and what kind of equality are we talking here, where the general caste doesn't even have a voice in the equity squad, doesn't even have a voice in the committee, and Dharmendra Pradhan is saying, rest assured, you'll be taken care of, nothing wrong will happen. How can we be rest assured when there is no action against false complaints? And this entire drama that so many complaints are happening, he just raised 118% increase. Do you know, Navika ji, how many complaints are there in total? As per the UGC report of 2023-24, out of 4.2 crore students, the number of complaints, the ratio stands to 0.00018%. Is it this rampant that we needed something as draconian as this? We've already had provisions of SC/ST which have been misused. We've had instances like Vishnu Tiwari, whose entire life was destroyed because of false cases. And now you want to even remove action against false cases. What kind of justice are we talking about here? I think this has to be rolled back.
Absolutely, and there are worries, and there could be genuine worries, because the Equity Commission, and Mr. Deepak Reddy, let me ask you, the Equity Commission has representation from SCs, STs, OBCs, the disability category as well as women category. But there is absolutely no mention of any membership of the general category. I want to ask you, is omission by design, or is it because there is a lack of application of mind? The general category being kept out. Now, I have been speaking to students, and one example that was given to me by women students who came up to me and said that if women were from the general category and somebody, their classmate, their college mate, from an SC, ST, OBC category was approaching them in a romantic kind of way, and they were not interested. They were not interested and just genuinely rebuffed these overtures. Would this be seen as caste discrimination? Would this be converted into a complaint? Would they always have to look over their shoulders? What happens to the rights of women? What happens to the rights of women to choose? And is everything in the college campus now going to be based on caste scare, creating automatic walls where there should be friendship, where there should be camaraderie? There would be automatic walls that would come up between, students coming from different parts of the country. It's a genuine fear.
Navika ji, I would like to start off from what Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan has assured. He's clearly made it clear that it would be applied fairly and there would be no discrimination and no misuse would be allowed. Furthermore, he's made it clear that there can be a dialogue and any genuine concerns we can clarify on them. So let's take that into consideration and start off. And even after this, if somebody is trying to politicize this and then get castes into it, I think it is being intentionally done to polarize and to get political division for their benefit. So the NDA is very clear, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and there's no way, such kind of a negative thing would be taken. We have to look at it in a positive light. When Rohit Vemula died, his poor mother is fighting for justice. She's gone to the court, and the Supreme Court has directed, get all the statistics. The statistics, if you see in the last few years, it's gone up by 118%. So the Supreme Court has directed this, and this is in line with our constitutional values of right to equity and right to education. And I would like to add one thing further. In Andhra Pradesh, 43.17% are BC community. And we are getting in a new law in the coming months in line with the SC/ST Act, to protect the BC community, which is the bulk of the population. So when something like this is coming in, we need to look at it in a positive manner to protect the rights of those who are in need or who are undergoing certain atrocities, and not politicize it and blow things out of proportion. I think this is the way we need to look at it. And from TDP side, we are very clear that this is a sensitive issue. Yes, there has to be a bit of a balance and a maturity in institution, and we have to go forward with dialogue and discussion. If anybody has any concerns, yes, that can be talked in a democratic manner. And
in which case, Deepak Reddy ji, the criticism of the Modi government is very clear and very probably in line because the dialogue normally happens after the cat is out of the bag and there are protests on the street. If the dialogue preceded the rules, it would probably have, had greater value. Isn't it, Sanjay Jha? And Sanjay Jha, I also want to ask you, a mere assurance, is that enough to take care of all the reservations and all, the safeguards that are right now seemingly not present in the UGC regulations?
Navika, this is a very serious subject, and for a change, I seem to be agreeing with Mr. Reddy's initial statement. Although in a very clever way, he did not mention that the people who are protesting against the UGC regulations are people who are supporters of the Bharatiya Janata Party, who vote for the Bharatiya Janata Party. So he needs to kind of be very clear as to who are the people who are against the law that he believes that in his state of Andhra Pradesh, he's going to implement. So I think we need to cut out some hypocrisy here. Otherwise, I broadly agree with what Mr. Reddy has said. Nafika, this is, I believe, an issue that requires a very serious conversation. I was hearing, Karan Varma, a friend of mine, I talk to him pretty often, even off camera, talk about natural justice. And I was amused. I'm very amused when the right-wing ecosystem suddenly wakes up to natural justice, which is dead when it comes to people accused of UAPA without any trial, when it comes to people arrested by the ED without any trial or evidence produced even after several years. So let's get our facts right. But here is the broader point, Navika. The reason why this is becoming a political hot potato is for the simple reason that you have seen, and we all have been reading about it. And I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Hindu, and I, by the way, respect, as somebody from my religion, my Shankaracharya much more than I respect Modi or Amit Shah speaking on behalf of my great Hindu religion. And we saw what Swami Avi Mukteswaranand had to say about the BJP and the Sangh Parivar and how they are using Hinduism, a great, eclectic, inclusive, tolerant religion, for crude political purposes. I don't need to say more. I'm sure your viewers know about it. The BJP has lost its right to ever use the word Sanatan and Hinduism anymore. From the highest echelons of the spiritual power.
So do you, because when Sanatan is called dengue malaria, you lose your voice. You have nothing to say. But because Shankaracharya ji has criticized the BJP, suddenly he is somebody that you revere and respect so much. You may not have time to go to the Ram Mandir, but suddenly Hinduism के सबसे बड़े philosopher आप ही बन गए हैं. क्यों करण वर्मा? क्यों करण वर्मा? अब हिंदुइज्म के टेनेट्स हमें कांग्रेस से सीखने पड़ेंगे.
नहीं सीखने पड़ेंगे क्योंकि हम सच बोल रहे हैं. ये लोग तो बिल्कुल
नहीं, आप हमेशा सच बोलते हैं. मैंने ऐसा कब कहा कि आप झूठ बोलते हैं?
But anyway, I want to make a bigger point on the UGC. Karan, just give me 15 seconds.
Okay, allow Sanjay Jha to complete.
Yeah. Let me tell you one thing, Karan. I come from Bihar. I have lived most of my life outside of Bihar. I'm a Brahmin, very privileged. I need to tell you that. But I'm aware because I'm in touch with my relatives. I know a lot of people from Bihar who are in bureaucracy. And I'm aware how the forward caste has exploited the backward caste in this country. I'm going to make a public admission of this. We are privileged as people of the forward caste to get jobs, to get education, to get equal opportunities. The backward caste in this country gets a raw deal. And they get a raw deal not just from the point of view of education, harassment, abuse, intimidation, threats, We know it all. We've seen the kind of violence Dalits have faced all over the
nobody
country.
disagrees that there are safeguards that are required, but can there be a reverse bias is the only question that is being asked. And Karan Verma,
We have to
Karan Verma, is that not the question? Principles of natural justice mean, and just like in the communal violence bill, I remember the late Mr. Arun Jaitley saying, you can't just presume and damn the majority class, which is what is being done with the general category in these rules. Damning them even before you assess whether the complaint against them is real or justified, or is it just a fake and planted just out of ulterior motives? Isn't that the problem, Karan Verma?
Absolutely, Navika ji. And the worst is our good friend Deepak Reddy ji, he said, trust Dharmendra Pradhan, trust his intentions. No, don't politicize it. How can we trust his intentions when he's not even giving representation to the general category on the equity squad? I mean, you have an equity squad where you don't have voice of a certain category. How can you assume that Brahmins or the upper caste cannot be discriminated against? My good friend Sanjay Jha, unfortunately, has become this self-loathing and apologist Brahmin, which is sad to see. I agree, there must have been discrimination, but there has been discrimination against Brahmins as well. Have we not heard? If you see a snake and a Brahmin, kill a Brahmin first. Have we not heard Tilak Tarazu aur Talwar, inko joote maro char? Have we not seen genocide of Pandits? Just because they were Pandits, they were thrown out, Chit Pavan, Brahmins killed in Pune. Have we not seen all of that, Navika ji? In the last 10 years, have we not seen graffiti on JNU walls? Brahmins go back, leave this country. So we are seeing Brahmins also being victims of it. It's just that they don't play the victim card. And they're too guilt-tripped, just as my good friend Sanjay Jha is. He doesn't need to be so apologetic. If something wrong has happened in the past, there is the SC/ST Act for it, which is also, by the way, grossly misused, and where the maximum perpetrators, unfortunately, have been from the OBC, who are today included in those who can be discriminated against, and Brahmins are not included there. So
absolutely, and Shekhar Iyer, I want to ask you, is this something that has been done hurriedly? Also, the drafts did not include the OBCs. The final regulations include the OBCs. The fact that there is no penalty, which is the point that is irking most people, because if there is a fake complaint, what happens to that student? And their students, please, mind you, are these students who are just out of their uniforms in school coming to colleges, are they not? I mean, sometimes there will be sarcasm, sometimes there will be a fast one pulled at others. Do you want them to completely, lose all of those characteristics of enjoyment? Of course, not at the cost of other people, but genuine camaraderie that exists. Do you want them to always be looking over their shoulder to see, is somebody putting an SC/ST, act against me because I made a joke or I was sarcastic or something? Are we just taking away the fun out of university life?
Navika, unfortunately, if such a camaraderie were to exist, we would not have needed all these mechanisms and grievance. The fact is, today, in many of our universities, this is the reality. The students from the underprivileged classes, particularly Dalits, they face problem in coping up with several things, including the entire ambience. There already exists a redressal mechanism. This is to do further monitoring. Now consider what the Congress has proposed in Karnataka. They are going for a Rohit Vemula Act, which is in addition to SC/ST Act and other things for political reasons. This is not an act. This is only a system of mechanism that because Supreme Court directed in January in 2025, they said you will have to bring a mechanism which is more mandatory. And that is the reason why in February some draft rules were put on the public domain. Even the Parliamentary Standing Committee and Digvijay Singh had studied it and made some proposals. And this time they have also included people belonging to economically weaker section. Even if they have grievance, they can approach. See, in economically weaker section, you have got general category also. So why is it being exaggerated, given such a twist? Is it because of certain political compulsions happening in Uttar Pradesh? Whether it is a Shankaracharya who wanted to break the general rule applicable to everybody for the Magh Mela in Prayagraj. There is definitely a political, I would say even undercurrent, it is an open current. The whole idea is to put the ruling party in a fix, where they have to battle the OBCs, they will have to battle. But we will have to see there are certain realities. See, a week ago, Rahul Gandhi was in Karnataka to say we will bring this act, because they are playing openly OBC card. I mean, look at what the Congress has been doing.
Sanjay Jha, for once, aapki to lottery lag gayi. You are supporting the government also, and you are loving the fact that they are in hot water. Aapki to lottery lag gayi. Because vote bank, whether votes come or not, but vote bank politics is all that you understand.
No, I can tell you something, Navika. We are talking about a human issue here. I think Shekhar Iyer, my dear friend, has obviously got carried away. Let me give him some data. Shekhar, I hope you're aware, you're a seasoned journalist, and I have done my research before the program. Between 2019 to 21, there were 98 suicides in various campuses across the country. 55 to 58 of them were people who belong to the backward caste or the OBCs. So let's be very clear here. We are not talking, through a hat. When we all know, all of us on this program, broadly are English-speaking people living in urban cities who order these 10-minute deliveries. And we are sitting here and talking with some contemptuous indifference about the plight of those who are suffering at the bottom of the pyramid. For God's sake, I can tell you if there is a Rohit Vemula act. I didn't interrupt you. Shekhar, I didn't interrupt you. Give me 30 seconds. I did not interrupt you.
It is about the Congress game plan. You must talk about the Congress game plan.
Yes. Well, my dear sir.
Why did Congress neglect OBCs for such a long time?
If you do not interrupt me,
why are they playing that card now? And why is Rahul Gandhi playing that card?
I will wait for you to finish.
You are trying to mix, the atrocities. Who is denying the atrocities? Nobody is denying the atrocities.
Well, Navika, let me expose to the viewers how Shekhar Iyer is indulging in the most brazen form of hypocrisy. He calls the Rohit Vemula Act in Karnataka as Congress politics, but he's not telling you publicly that this UGC regulation is sponsored by the government. The architecture is created by the government. He's not critical of the BJP. Well, in that case, will you tell the people of India that the BJP is playing crude politics on this? Say so, and say so right now. Stop being a chicken. You can't afford to, have, it's the sauce for the goose, it's sauce for the gander. Don't use your time on television to rubbish Congress when it is not fair at all. I am for a change going to tell you that the government's intentions, even if it's political, is going to help people from the backward caste. I'm not going to comment on the political ramification. It may be for the Uttar Pradesh election, maybe, but I still feel it will help the people of India. Then for a change, I'm going to endorse
what is telling is that despite invitations, neither the Samajwadi Party decided to join this debate, nor did the BJP. And that is the politics I want to ask Mr. Mithun Vijay Kumar, political analyst, to decode for me. If the rules are so good, and everybody is talking about 118% increase, may I give you the numbers? Sometimes these percentages can be misleading. The numbers are, there used to be 173 cases about 4 years ago. Now there are 378 out of 4.2 crore students in over 50,000 colleges across the country. So the question that we are asking tonight is only simply this, that this is a number, if you want to look at the percentages, 0.001%, but for which laws already exist. Do you want to create fissures in the university campuses in the manner that this regulation does? That is pure and simple my question.
Navika, I read about this and I see there is a 118% increase in the number of cases, out of which 90% of the victims are from SC, ST and OBC community. So the rule is very much essential is what I understand. And if you are comparing it with general category students being excluded, then that's a wrong comparison at all. Because the general category students are still protected by the UGC anti-ragging rules and the IPC. So we can have if we have POSH Act to protect women at work, that doesn't mean that, the law thinks that men can't be harassed. So it's just, a specific type of systemic harm that is being that we are trying to avoid, and the government is trying to implement a law that backward communities, they are facing a specific type of harm, and that needs to be stopped. So the Rule 3C is a special law for a special problem. So it doesn't take away the rights for of the general category. It just adds a new layer of safety for those who are being failed by the old system.
But then what is an equity committee without complete representation? Why call it equity? Call it an SC/ST committee. Why should you call it an equity committee? Does equity preclude any class, Karan Verma?
Navika, can I just answer you briefly, if you don't mind? Yeah, just one second, Karan.
In their definition, Navika ji, it does. They for their default setting right now is that the general category is the accused, it's the perpetrator. That is what the RJD spokesperson today said. Let them be caught.
Guilty as charged without a trial. Naval Kishore Yadav ji, guilty as charged without a trial.
नाविका जी देखिए, आप यहाँ पे भी कितना बायस्ड हैं। बार बार करण वर्मा झूठ बोला, आपने अभी तक माफी नहीं मंगवाया उनसे। सब कह रहे हैं कि झूठ कौन बोल रहा है और बायस कौन क्रिएट कर रहा है? ऐसा अगर डिबेट करेंगे
अब
तो
नवल किशोर जी 30-35 साल से तो हम चुनावी रणनीति और स्लोगन सुन रहे हैं। अब इसमें गलत क्या है मुझे समझ नहीं आया। कमंडल और मंडल की राजनीति इस देश में कब से चल रही है?
नहीं, बता रहा हूं आपको। जब पहली बार मुंगेरी लाल के आयोग के रिपोर्ट के आधार पे कर्पूरी ठाकुर ने आरक्षण लागू किया तो मां बहन की गालियां सदन के अंदर किसने दिया? किसने वीपी सिंह को पहले बोला? मंडल जब नहीं लागू किए थे तो बोला कि राजा नहीं रंक है, राजा नहीं फकीर है, देश का तकदीर है। जैसे मंडल कमीशन लागू किया उन्होंने, किसने बोला कि राजा नहीं रंक है, देश का कलंक है? इस तरह की भावनाएं जो एंटी मंडल कमीशन एजुकेशन था, आप उससे क्या समझते हैं? जो एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल ड्यूटी, जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल आधार पर जो हक दिए जा रहे थे, उसमें सारे सड़क पे थे। आप इस तरह का जो भ्रमित डिबेट करेंगे तो कल से हम लोग भी आपके डिबेट में नहीं, टीवी डिबेट में इस मुद्दे पे नहीं आएंगे। मैं आपको अभी बोल रहा हूं, अगर आप भ्रम फैलाना चाहते हैं तो ये करिए। आप कौन नहीं जानता है कि कास्ट इज बेस्ड ऑन बेनिफिट एंड बर्डन। एक बहुत बड़े संख्यक समाज के लिए बर्डन है और कास्ट जो है वो बेनिफिट है कुछ के लिए। कौन नहीं जानता है? ये तो इस पर कितने स्टडीज हुए हैं। आप यहाँ पर क्या डिस्कशन करना चाहते हैं? आप चाहते हैं कि SC/ST कमीशन कर दिया जाए। इक्विटी का मतलब आप नहीं समझते हैं, इक्वालिटी का मतलब आप नहीं समझते हैं। इक्विटी इक्वालिटी जो है वो समाज के लिए, लोकतांत्रिक समाज के लिए बेहद जरूरी है। इट इज एन एसेंशियल quintessence of a
Which
democratic
is the
society.
only point I'm asking. If there are representatives from other categories, why are there no representatives from the general category to make it equal to make, because all our lives we have only seen the law is equal for everyone. Yes, there should be some provisions to protect the economically weaker sections, the downtrodden, the backward classes, of course. I'm in full agreement with that. I'm not contesting that. However, I'm just saying presumption of guilt in this case of the general category. Is that fair, or are you removing one set of unfair laws to address unfairness in one part of the society and introducing unfairness to another part of the society? That is the question that really is being sought today, answers to which right now are assurances and probably open doors for future dialogues. Whether this will be corrected or not, well, the jury is still out on that. Well, we did a snap poll. UGC anti-bias laws biased against upper caste? Yes, say 79% of the people. No, say 16%. Can't say 5%. 79% of the people actually say they are biased against the upper class. While we are all for protection of the backward caste, can any new regulation create a new sect of unfairly treated individuals in the society? That's the only question, and we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number